going to be interesting. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. I'm Eric Duhame here with Andy Hughes. Just short stories about some of our time in law enforcement. Some have messages, some have none. Some are funny, some are exciting, some are not. We hope you enjoy them. And this is one from Andy's story list.
Good morning. This particular story is kind of a funny story. Nothing very exciting whatsoever, but this was probably around 2002, 3, 4 time frame, somewhere along in there. I was a sergeant in special operations and training, and one of my duties is I was supervised the police canine unit at Dothan PD. We had 9 dogs, 9 handlers, and I handled the day-to-day operations and the training and administration of the police canine unit. Very enjoyable job. I got to go out, and I didn't actually have a dog myself, but I got to go out with our canine handlers and do some training. You know, I'd put on a suit or a bite sleeve and catch some dogs and that kind of thing. It was a lot of fun. But
if you've never done that, I recommend it. It's a good time.
It's a lot of fun. Make you appreciate a dog. Make you appreciate a bite suit or a sleeve too.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will.
But I got a call from one of my canine handlers one day, and he went ahead and related to me this story. But my captain called me about a day after, and he said, "Listen, I want you to write up this officer." I said, "What's going on?" And of course, I already knew the story. And the captain began to relate to me this story. Well, if you're a part of the canine unit, SWAT, bomb team, a lot of these specialty teams, you end up doing, in addition to your other duties that are fun, you end up doing a lot of what we call dog and pony shows also. You take your dog, or you take your equipment or whatever, you set up some static displays, you do some demos and that kind of thing. Well, this particular day, this canine handler had been relegated to take his dog to a local school here in Dothan. He had just gotten this dog not too long prior, and this was the first Dutch Shepherd that we had. The rest of our dogs that we had previously gotten were Malinois. Mm-hmm. And we got this Dutch Shepherd, and he was kind of had a strange looking, coat. The coat was different coloring. It was kind of a brindle color or whatever, and just a real different looking dog. Mm-hmm. Well, he gets out at the school, gets his dog out. Well, there's this principal or assistant principal, and
I remember that.
She says, "What an ugly dog." Now, let me tell you, if you don't know anything about police canine handlers, I'll tell you a little bit about them, okay? You can make fun of their wife, you can make fun of their dog, you can make fun of their cars, whatever, but don't make fun of their dog, okay? Do not pick on their dog.
Kids.
I mean, this is one of their children, so do not talk about or pick at their dog or whatever the case may be, because they're going to get very defensive. One time she says, "Man, what an ugly dog." A few minutes later, she says, "I believe that's the ugliest dog I've ever seen." And then like the third or fourth time, she says something about his dog being ugly. And he replies, "Well, he don't think much of you either." to this female principal, So like I said, I'd already been related this story, by the canine officer, and he'd already told me about it. The captain calls me and says, "I want you to write this officer up. He's rude to the public or whatever." I told him, I said, "Captain," I said, "you can go ahead and write me up for insubordination." I said, "Because I'm not writing this officer up. The lady should have shut her mouth. She should have not said anything about his dog, especially she just kept on and on about his dog being ugly." And finally, he responded with, "Well, he don't think much of you either." And of course, she called in and complained, but
she probably embellished it a little bit, didn't she?
Yeah, but I had to stand up for my canine officer there, and I'm glad I did, because he's made a pretty good police chief at Dothan PD now. His name's Will Benny.
There you go, Will Benny.
His name's Will Benny. But
I can see Will saying that.
Yeah, exactly. Will's pretty dry, pretty witty, and pretty quick to respond. So
I'm surprised that he waited for the third time of her saying something.
He was trying to show some restraint, but she shouldn't have been making fun of his dog.
No.
That's like telling somebody they had an ugly kid. Nobody would like them, like anybody saying your kid's ugly. So
canine handlers probably would let their kids be insulted more than their dogs. So
and these dogs, truly, man, dogs are a wonderful tool, but even more than their tool, man, they're a partner. And these canine handlers, they spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day with these dogs in the car, and they grow very attached to them. If you've never seen it, and one time we had a canine, Andy Sutley, one of our canine officers, very fine canine officer.
What's up, Andy?
One of the best I've ever seen. Andy had a Rottweiler named Junior.
I remember Junior well.
Yeah, Junior had quite a few apprehensions, had a lot of drug busts under his belt, and Junior actually bit me on the eyebrow one time while I was searching under a car, and I scooted back on some gravel, and it startled him. And Andy had the leash, but Junior lashed out, and I ended up with about 4 or 5 stitches in my eyebrow. And but anyway, Junior was a great dog, and he ended up having some organ problems. His kidneys are shutting down, and we had to take Junior and have him euthanized. And Andy, I went in with Junior. We said our goodbyes, and I've got those pictures where we were saying our goodbyes to Junior that day. And Andy just couldn't. He loved that dog, man.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
he loved that dog. And
we all love Junior.
And,
Junior was a great dog.
And he couldn't even go in with him to be euthanized. And I went in and just sat there and stroked Junior until he passed away when he was euthanized. But if you've never been that close to a dog, and I'm a dog lover, I mean, I love dogs anyway, but these canine handlers truly have a bond with their canine partners, and to have a canine die, man, it's a very traumatic event for a canine handler and their family too, because these dogs, they're there with the families. The kids know the dogs. Like I said, these handlers work with them day in and day out. And even on their off days, there's no such thing as an off day for a canine handler. I mean, they get extra pay for taking care of their dogs. They're having to feed these dogs, take them to vet visits. They're having to groom them, all that kind of stuff and everything. And very close with dogs. So
there's no doubt.
Don't make fun of an officer's dog, okay? Just some good advice.
That is outstanding.